Welcome to Boxing During Dinner. I know you guys have missed us. It's been, what, 2 years?
No, has it really?
I think so. I think it was like Mayweather, Maidana.
It was. Well, so yeah, pretty close then.
Yeah, our camera guy and editor and friend, Alex Sanchez, moved to LA, and we've been trying to find someone for a really long time, and Brian Ayala has stepped up.
Not the camera.
He's behind the camera, so
there you go.
Thanks for stepping up and letting there be Boxing During Dinner once again. But as you all know, Armando and David Berry, and this stud over here, Ahmed Elbiali, who you guys saw back in the day in Unboxing During Dinner when he was 1-0.
Yep.
Gearing up for his second fight. Now he's 12-0, 11 knockouts. You've seen him on ESPN, on Spike TV last week. But we'll talk about Fox Sports 1. That's what it was?
Yeah, Fox Sports 1 last week.
And Showtime.
PBC
Showtime. Yeah, you're leaving Showtime.
PBC is everywhere. So Al Heyman has boxing everywhere, so I don't. Every channel. He's been on every channel.
And by the way, we're gonna have like a little contest on the Facebook message board after this. Ahmed doesn't have an official fighter's nickname, so if you can come up with one,
yes,
he might take it into the ring.
No, okay, that's good. The nickname. Ahmed will send you an autographed picture or something. But we're gonna start off by talking about Mayweather against Andre Berto. It was Mayweather's last fight. Really believable in the boxing world. Sugar Ray Leonard had many last fights. Oscar De La Hoya had the last fight. So did Felix Trinidad, etc., etc.
Mayweather a couple times ago.
Yeah. David, first off, the fight went as everybody thought it would go. Floyd Mayweather outboxing Andre Berto over 12 rounds. Andre Berto, he's younger than Mayweather. He's not a slow fighter. But against Mayweather, at 38 years old, he still looked very slow. How do you see the fight?
Yeah, I thought, the thing Mayweather knew probably was that Berto had his best shot in the first 3 rounds. So if he could somehow assert his will the way Maidana did in the first couple of fights, then that was his moment. But if that didn't happen, then we knew that Mayweather was going to pick him apart as the fight went on. What you saw from Mayweather in round 1 was that educated jab to the body, a lot of jabbing from Mayweather within the first 30 seconds to a minute of the round. And this was always the case in the script of a Mayweather fight. Berto was landing single-digit amounts of punches as each round went by. And the only time there was some sort of punch of consequence that Berto landed was when Mayweather chose to put himself out of position to get caught in the first place. He could have done whatever he wanted in that fight. He did do whatever he wanted in that fight. Sure, the average fan who did pay, to watch the pay-per-view like we did, wanted to see a little bit more action. But this is exactly the script that we thought would follow out, and it did.
Well, we got a great card out of it. I mean, we'll talk about some of the undercard fights, which were fantastic beforehand. But as far as legacy, Ahmed, everybody complains about Mayweather picking opponents and beating him the way he knows how to beat him, which is boxing. I mean, it's hit and not be hit. How do you see Mayweather's legacy in the sport? I mean, in my opinion, if you go back to earlier Mayweather, that's when he fought his best fights. That's when he had his best wins against Diego Corrales, Angel Man Freddy, De La Hoya, Jose Luis Castillo, etc. So how do you see his all-time legacy? Is he the best ever or among the best ever?
He's among the best ever. There's going to be someone better, maybe 10 years from now, 20 years from now. There's always someone better, but as far as legacy, it's going to stay, Rocky Martinez, a lot of people say he didn't fight anybody, Yeah, he fought very good fighters like Ezra Charles and Archie Moore and all these guys, but they weren't he fought Joe Louis, but they weren't at their prime. It's the same thing with Mayweather, it's the same thing with Muhammad Ali, it's the same thing with, Oscar De La Hoya, I would say he fought better competition, but a lot of these guys didn't fight the best fighters all the time. It's the way boxing is. The point is, it's a business. It's kind of sucks to say that, but it's the truth, Fighters fight the fights at the right moment where they feel like they have an advantage. And honestly, he fought hungry fighters at good times too. He fought Canelo when Canelo was at his prime. He made Canelo drop that 2-pound weight difference, but he should have not signed the contract if he didn't want to. He fought Victor Ortiz when he was hungry. He fought Andre Berto. Andre Berto is only 29 years old. When you have a guy like Mayweather in front of you, you can go in there with the kitchen sink if he doesn't hit hard. Everybody says he doesn't hit hard. go try to knock the guy out, hit him to the body a little bit, and go back up top. Sure, probably sounds easier than it's like it is, but you can. He was going out there with like jab right hand. No, you gotta boom, like come up top.
Kind of like what Maidana did, and that's what made that fight exciting.
Yeah,
Maidana did not care if he got hit by Mayweather, and he probably gave the fans the most exciting fight against Mayweather in the last I don't know how many years.
Yeah, he's a great fighter. Like, it's very hard to beat him. Even if he did that, he probably still would have lost. But he would have increased his chances. Like, you're gonna get hit. Fight the guy. Like, you can't do that.
Yeah, and like you said, Ahmed, every fighter that's ever fought and has been considered the greatest at the time, they always have something negative said about them. There was this one poet, one of the greatest poets of all time, that said, "They say I never fought nobody. I just make them look like nobody. Y'all must have forgot."
Roy Jones Jr.
Roy Jones Jr., who was one of the most dominant fighters I've ever seen in my life. But again, it's not his fault that the guys that were there for him during his era were those guys. And the same with Floyd Mayweather Jr. I mean, Floyd Mayweather Jr., when he fought Diego Corrales, fought the best guy in the division at the time.
He's also considered one of the best pound for pound at that time.
Right.
And he completely outclassed him. It's interesting to me, too, after all of these guys fight Mayweather, they're always saying, oh, he was running the whole night. And what did you think from 47, 48 other fights at that point was going to happen? It is your obligation as the fighter to prepare accordingly, to go against the best fighter on the planet and prepare a game plan. The one thing I do want to say is, no one here can say with any sort of authority that Mayweather's going to go down as the best ever, or where he'll rank among the best. He is among the best. He beat everybody in his era. To Ahmed's point, peak or not peak, there were guys who were hungry and knew what they were getting into the ring with and still failed. The thing that is puzzling to me, however, is why everyone keeps pointing to Rocky Marciano's record as the thing that kind of defines this legacy. Ricardo Lopez is just another world champion that happened to finish at 51-0. So why is that not the record?
One draw.
One draw. Yeah, sorry. Maybe that's why. Damn. Okay.
But you're absolutely right. I mean, then you're then all these other fighters like Archie Moore, who fought about 8 times in a month at some point and fought over 100 times, and Julio Cesar Chavez, and you can go down the list. I mean, the record doesn't really stamp out how great you are. It's not like 49-0, 50-0, I retire, I'm the greatest of all time. I mean, Sugar Ray Robinson and Muhammad Ali might have something to say about that. Yeah. But like you said, Mayweather is in the conversation. I think he's one of the most skilled boxers, defensive boxers I've seen in my life, outside of maybe Pernell Whitaker. He does things in the ring not many people could do. He made Berto look like
he didn't belong in the ring. Yeah. Like he wasn't a two-time
foolish at times. He made Canelo look foolish. He made Pacquiao look foolish. He made everybody. They're good fighters, and he made them look bad, and that's what Pernell Whitaker used to do as well. And that's why Mayweather's so great. Now, am I glad to see him retire? Yes, and it's not anything against Floyd Mayweather. I actually like Floyd Mayweather as a boxer. He brings a lot of attention to the sport. I mean, he made the most money out of any fighter of all time. But I think boxing is in such a good state right now, with such great fighters up and coming, like this guy right here, and the Lomachenkos of the world, and Oscar Valdez, and Felix Verdejo. You could go down the list. Terrence Crawford. I want to see those guys be the pay-per-view stars. The Golovkins, the Roman Gonzalez, the Ahmed Elbialis. I want those guys to go up and be the pay-per-view stars. And now Mayweather, if he does stay retired, he's going to pave the way for those guys to fall into those positions.
And the timing couldn't be better too, because I think the PBC, for whatever it may not have achieved already, is doing a lot of good things. So let's say the model changes, that they can't sustain by being on all major networks for the next several years, but boxing getting on free TV is putting up higher ratings than almost any of the HBO and Showtime cards, just on nationally televised stuff. Guys like Ahmed Elbiali are fighting, on the undercards of Deontay Wilder, fights that people otherwise wouldn't have been paying attention to. So boxing is, to your point, in a very good position right now. I think particularly with the Pacquiao fight, 4.4 million pay-per-view buys shows that, people want to say boxing's dead. There's no sport alive that can put on a pay-per-view like that and get that type of exposure. So Yeah, boxing's in a great shape, and I think it's time for the Mayweathers and Pacquiaos to move on as well. They have done everything imaginable for the sport at this point, and all the names you just listed, plus many others, the Tim Bradleys of the world, who are probably past that moment where they could fit, but are still fighters who deserve the limelight and put on a good show every time out. And so I think it's the time for the changing of the guard right now.
And really quickly before we move on to talk to Ahmed about his career. Orlando Salido got screwed against Rocky Martinez, and Rocky Martinez looked to have Salido out in the second round. They both exchanged knockdowns, and I think it was the second round. Salido stood up after that. I thought got the best of him. I mean, he beat him up. I don't know how. I mean, Rocky Martinez is one tough fighter because he took some punishment in that ring, and he was still coming back. It was a great fight. I want to see the third fight, but I thought Salido should have been a world champion today, Ahmed.
I think so too. He's always up and down. He beat Lomachenko, then he lost again, right?
Then he lost to Mikey Garcia.
Yeah. Then he lost to Mikey Garcia, but then he won that tough fight with the Filipino guy or Thai guy.
Right, and then he lost to Rocky Martinez.
Right? Yeah, and then he
lost to his performance.
Then so it's like this guy's. And he has 12, 13 losses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
a three-time world champ, four-time world champ.
And 9 lives. I mean, to that point as well. I mean, let's not forget he fought Juan Manuel Marquez at featherweight.
Yeah.
20 years ago.
He's
and Robert Guerrero as well.
Yeah, Robert Guerrero, guys who are full-fledged welterweights now. I mean, the guy who's been
used to be a construction worker.
Yeah.
He's
and an ex-con. I
didn't even know that.
He's 30. He's 34. Does not look. I'm 35, man.
Okay,
I feel like Orlando Salido could be my dad, but Orlando Salido, what a tough fighter, man, and it was good to see him put up that performance.
Siri, by the way, not the one who's on your iPhone.
Siri Salido, which I love Mauro Ranallo. I mean, I think he's a good guy. I like the way he calls fights, but he made a Siri joke in there that just didn't work for me, man.
Which one is more Ronaldo?
The head blow by blow guy for Showtime.
Very animated. He used to do the professional wrestling.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah.
He gets you jazzed up. I'm sorry.
He said, hopefully he doesn't have to contact Siri to ask questions. I don't know. It wasn't very good, but what was good has been this guy's career. Ahmed Elbiali, like I said 2 years ago when we last did boxing during dinner, Ahmed had fought once, maybe twice, and that was it. Yeah. Man, we're sitting here now. You're 12-0, 11 knockouts. Talk about your career since then. You're without Heyman now. You've been getting tons of exposure. Talk about that. That feeling being on TV and the way your career is going. Because you're making a big statement in the sport thus far.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, it's a roller coaster ride. I went. Not even people wanting to take me to fight on their cards in the beginning. I sat out a year without getting any fights, and had my pro debut. The other fight came even longer. It took 8 months, but then it got better, and you just try to stay positive, try to keep hope. Work for your dreams, labor of love. You just work until you get something you love, and thank God that's what happened. And it's fun. I mean, getting televised is fun. The thrill's nice. You get a little nervous here and there, but it's fun. It's really cool. I'm with good people. They take care of fighters finally. It's a business. They understand that, and I understand that. It's completely normal. And if I make money, they make money. And if they make money, I make money. So it works hand in hand.
Seems good to me.
Yeah, that's how it is. All I have to do is do my job, keep winning, and hopefully I can have careers like Mayweather and all these top guys right now. That's what every fighter hopes for. So,
in your most recent fight on the Deontay Wilder, not on the Wilder undercard, this past Tuesday on Fox Sports 1.
Austin Trout,
Joey Hernandez undercard.
Another good friend of ours.
Yeah, Joey. And it worked out better for him this time around. So, but I want to ask you, because I know one of the things that you have said in multiple post-fight interviews is people know you as the knockout artist, and that's what we've seen with a lot of first-round knockouts. And it turned out that way this time as well. But I think what a lot of people saw and continue to hear from you is this evolution. You came out on your toes this time, looked like you were prepared to box, look for those opportunities. How hard is it for you to evolve as a fighter when you continue to display power that you're not trying to show that early?
I mean, it was harder. I kept telling them in the beginning, it'll come. I mean, it's normal for me to. I'm still learning. I only had 40-something amateur fights and a lot of sparring, but they don't transition into the pros. You still have to learn along the way. And in the beginning, I just want to knock people out. I just want to, get out of there. Now it's like, you know what? Enjoy your time in there. Learn from every round, every minute, and it's going to take you to another level. The point is to fight the best. Like, it's not to fight average fighters. I know when I'm better than a fighter. I knew I was better than this guy. So it's you have to be completely realistic with yourself, and for you to get better and fight very good fighters, you need to get better every fight so you can fight very good fighters. I can't just depend on my knockout power, which I don't think I really have. Like, I think I just trained for it.
Would disagree.
I think I just train for it and focus on my technique, focus on hitting in the right spots, and that's how they come. And now, as I'm getting older, I'm realizing they'll come without you searching for it. You have to search for it. I mean, I want to hit hard, but you don't. You can't just there's no Goku and Super Saiyan. I'm not gonna battle it out.
And with fighting on TV, obviously you've given the fans some highlight reel knockouts, which everybody loves. But you also get the chance to DVR the fights, go home and watch them, and learn from what you did in the ring. You fought on ESPN a couple fights ago against a southpaw. Name escapes me.
Like Stafford.
But no. The guy that gave you a good fight, your only decision. And
Stafford, right?
Yeah, Stafford. Yeah. But he wasn't southpaw, he was right-handed.
Yeah, he was
right-handed.
He switched on me, though.
Right. But I was at that fight, and that was, out of all your fights, was the only one that went the distance. I thought you won comfortably, but you took some punches. What did you learn from that fight? You couldn't take him out, like you said. There's not every fighter is gonna go down from shots. The guy was able to tag you some. What did you learn from that fight that you could transition and use in your other fights to make you a better fighter?
I learned how easily you can knock someone out. I didn't get to knock him out. When I watched the fight, I'm like, wow, I could have gotten this guy out in 3 rounds. I can't believe it. So now it made me just want to knock people out more, in a good way, not in a cocky way or I completely understood what happened in my mind. No, he was a tough fighter. He took all my punches. I did a lot of mistakes. I'm so blessed for it. The moment I was really depressed for about 3 weeks, 4 weeks. I couldn't get over it. Not because I didn't get the knockout.
Not a win, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, people would be like, my coach would tell me, you won. You looked okay. You looked good. I'm happy with you. But everybody kept saying I would read these boxing news things, and they're like, oh, he lost more than he won. So I was like, oh, I'm going to get better. You know what? It's okay.
Boxing news guys.
Yeah. Whatever it is, but it's okay. Now I'm very happy for it. I'm gonna get better. I'm gonna get even better than this fight, and one day I will fight another fighter that I probably can't knock out for sure, no matter how good I look. And I can't wait until that day. I want to show them how good I am as a complete fighter, not just as a heavy hitter or basic boxer. I want to be a boxer, puncher that's agile. I want to move like a 147 and fight at light heavyweight or 68 or 201, whatever it is. So that's what I want to do.
See, Golovkin said he'd put anybody from welterweight up to light heavy. I'm not saying he'll fight from welterweight up to heavyweight.
I was gonna say, you want to throw him in with Golovkin already?
Yeah, one day.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. He's getting old.
And I know we've talked for a while. I mean, we could talk for forever and ever and ever. And our camera guy's doing the same thing Alex used to do.
Oh, nice.
Right, but really quick, Ahmed, you said something that I was thinking about when David was asking you about the boxing skills and all that. You're a big puncher. You've been able to knock people out. You said you look back at this fight and you're like, man, why didn't I take this guy out earlier? I could have taken him out earlier. I think a lot of fighters have these skill sets that they could be a boxer puncher, but more a puncher. But because people put it in their heads that, oh, you need to try to box, you need to try to do this, they kind of change styles just because they want to show they could box, they want to show they could look good on their feet. And that's something I noticed with Randall Bailey. Back then, there were some fights that, and Randall's a guy I've known for a long time. I consider him a friend. And there were fights that I was screaming at the TV like, man, just let your hands go. You hit so hard. But somebody, may tell, a fighter, no, throw your jab more, do this, do that. Is that something that's like on your mind that you're like, you know what, I'm a hard hitter. If I make any adjustments, it won't be anything crazy? I mean, I don't expect to see you fighting like Floyd Mayweather,
I get if I want to, I can. I practice that, but no, boxing is a business. You have to entertain. Like it's a part of the sport. I think Mayweather is the greatest, and I don't like when people say he's they don't like watching him. Well, it's boxing. It's a sport. It is not a fight at all. They call us fighters, but we're boxers. We come to perform in a sport. We don't come to fight. He does this. The game, the rule of the game is to hit and not get hit, just like you said. So that's completely normal. But in my heart, I do want to be remembered, and I need to give something up to receive something. You got to trade. So I don't want to get hit, that's for sure, but I do want to be entertaining. And I want to get better, I want to jab better, I want to use my footwork better, but at the same time, I don't want to stop hitting people hard.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's the most entertaining part. People want to see sweat and blood.
You're very good at it. And even though you say, that you don't consider yourself a hard hitter, you are, because a lot of guys.
And wait till he does.
A lot of guys throw those same punches and never knock anybody out. And you could go down the list of all-time greats and
guys like David Berry, Armando Alvarez, those types of fighters.
Even Kid Gavilan. But that's it for Boxing During Dinner. I'm sure we'll have hopefully plenty more.
A crowd of one.
We'll have plenty more, and to Mark Rondazzo, we'll be there. We'll be there soon. If we could get Brian to take a Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday off.
The food will make you much happier. And before we run out too, thanks to Ahmed Elbiali for making the trip to come see us as well. And be on the lookout for him too. If you're not sure where to find him, we'll be sure to post that information on our Facebook page.
And by the way, he never said. What was it? You don't have to be from the hood to be good.
Yeah.
He never said that.
Gus Johnson.
Sorry, Gus Johnson, you got it wrong. We'll see you next time.